Good evening. Good evening. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's having a good week. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Um, yeah, I had a few technical difficulties, but I hope everyone's well. Looking forward to having a little bit of a chat. The next week or so is going to be a bit all over the place, just because hell of a lot of work, obviously preparing for the holiday on Friday, or this coming Friday. Obviously, we've got a card tomorrow night. We've had a whole bunch of announcements, different fights. A lot of people are kind of up in arms about it. A lot of people are happy about it. Um, saying the UFC is finally back. Seeing how everyone's doing, really. How you doing, Jack Beats? What's man? Always a nice relief when a nice person turns up. So shout out to you for being the first one. How you doing, bro? Hope you're having a really good week. How you doing, Kerry? What's good, man? How's life in your neck of the woods? I haven't seen anything from your channel pop up in the last couple of days. So hope you're well and healthy and all that good stuff. I don't know if I'm lagging or you're lagging. It could be both or neither. I hope that's helpful. My my connect I'm using something called Restream, and they've obviously been making some changes to their interface and all that stuff. So I think it's taken them a little while to iron out some of the kinks, but hopefully things are better now. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clearly, and that the stream isn't buffering or anything like that. But yeah, I hope everyone's well. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be on tonight. I've got a little bit of a hectic. We're going to try and stream for today, tomorrow, and Sunday potentially. Shout out to everyone who's been supporting the shorts and everything as well. They've been doing very, very well, which is because they've been as ridiculously stupid as always. But they seem to be doing pretty good numbers. So shout out to everyone who's been getting involved and commenting and dropping likes and stuff like that. And obviously to all the new and old subscribers, anyone who subscribes to this channel, I appreciate every single one of you. But yeah, I've had a little look over the card. I think apathy is all I can really say at this point. Josh Emmett's obviously fighting Vallejos, and I think there's a little bit of an opportunity there, which I may get into. How you doing, Ortis? What's good, man? How are you, brother? Hope you're very well yourself. Oh, hang on a sec. Yeah, so I feel like I'm gonna try and make the most of this weekend and try and do as much streaming as possible, because I'm not gonna be streaming next weekend. So pumped for Strickland Chimaev. I tell you what, yeah, that is the one great thing that has come out of this. Like I was making a thumbnail earlier on to obviously highlight all the matchups. Don't know why I inverted quotes that. To highlight all the matchups that are going on over the next like sort of 3 months, and I realized all of them are pretty much, I don't want to swear this early, they're not great. But I tell you what, the Strickland and Chimaev one, to get that, because I was hoping that this would be on the White House card. Obviously, we all understand why it isn't, because Strickland can't keep his mouth shut, and that's what we love him for. Certainly isn't his fighting necessarily. But to get that fight before the White House card, we can't have asked for better news than that. But then we got. I feel like they were very, very clever in how they did all this. The UFC, they've obviously thrown that in there, and that's the fight that I think the majority of the MMA fan base wanted. And then they've kind of ridden that by throwing us another 10 main events that are, frankly, a little bit shitty. Strickland versus Chimaev is the next McGregor versus Khabib. I wouldn't go that far, but it's as good as we're gonna get in this current era. I could definitely say that much. Um, it's the fight that makes the most sense. There's genuine beef there. They've trained together. A lot of people are kind of crying foul about Imavov not getting the title shot and getting overlooked. Sean Strickland beat him and beat him very handily. Now, Imavov obviously would have been next in line, but the fact is, if we're going to get one Chimaev fight a year, which is basically the best we can hope for, are we really going to waste it on Nasruddin Imavov, who is a cheater as well? And I know he's been on a little bit of a decent run. He beat Adesanya. Strickland did that too. Strickland beat him. End of story. So he deserves the title shot. He's a bigger draw, a bigger star, so to speak, if we even have those anymore in the UFC. Maybe trash talking wise. Oh no, definitely. I think the build up will be sensational as long as they don't clip Strickland's wings in the build up, because there's obviously a very, very high possibility that they might do that very thing. The UFC just can't help themselves. I say the UFC. I basically mean the people who are, Paramount, whoever's kind of running the company at the moment. They certainly don't want to give Strickland too much of a platform. So as long as they don't clip his wings too much, I think they should just let him run loose, say whatever the hell he wants, and just embrace the drama, really. Because I think the fight's either going to be a spectacular war or it's going to be a total dud. And I don't know which way it's going to go. Curly Gone versus Shamil the Blob. I would have preferred to see. That's more what he's... Just see the juice. How you doing, Tyler? What's good, man? Yeah, so it's I mean, a lot of the fights that got announced, I'm not saying they're all absolutely terrible. They're not. But again, it's just more underwhelming stuff. And like the White House card was supposed to be the moment where we all went, "Oh my god, this card's a banger." At least we've got that to look forward to. And I've had what I've had to say about the White House card in general. I think it's very underwhelming. Do I think it's a bad card? Not necessarily. But I think underwhelming even is being generous. So we've basically sacrificed the first half of 2026 for a card that is meh, especially compared to what it could have been. The most interesting thing about the announcement of that card was people basically saying that there was one fight that got pulled from it. A lot of people are saying it's Makhachev, and it's certainly all evidence points towards that being the case. And I do think Makhachev did turn down the opportunity to do it. So that was another fight that I was calling for. So it's just a weird situation we're all in now. I think apathy is certainly spreading amongst the fan base, and I, for one, am very much part of that. Disappointed, but locked in, unfortunately. Like the rest of us, we're all just gonna have to make do with what we've got, and just most of us are kind of just in this now. There's no other way of putting it. We're just there. Especially if you've been watching the UFC for a few years, you're kind of just like, you're in it for the ride now, no matter what happens. We kind of just keep surviving based on, having the odd moment that's worth it once in a while. And maybe we were spoiled a little bit too much over the years. Curtis or Oral By? I'm going to go with Oral By. I do like Chris. I mean, I don't like Chris Curtis as a person, but I think as a fighter, he's very, very solid. I think what's going to cost Chris Curtis in this fight is what costs him in every other fight, where he just isn't active enough. Like Chris Curtis is often under the delusion that he's doing a lot better than he thinks he's doing. Because I think in his mind, he's thinking, I'm not getting hurt and I'm probably hitting the guy slightly harder, but he's not doing it enough. And Oral By looks massive compared to him. I think the welterweight cut is it interesting. I think it's something that Curtis should have done way earlier in his career. And obviously he's chosen to do it now when he's on, he's not got many years left, maybe a couple years left in the game. And draining yourself at that age and going into a fist fight, especially against a lab experiment like Oral By, I can't see it going that well. He's very, very hard to finish. But I think what will happen is Oral By will be more active. Chris Curtis will have his moments and we'll get the same fucking long-standing UFC Curtis meme of him standing there at the end being fucking outraged and then crashing out about it after he loses a 29-28 decision. And that's where I see this one going. I've been watching more BKFC and RAF. UFC has been getting worse and worse. I've got to say, yeah, RAF has been doing fantastically. Like, I don't watch the cards when they're live, but you can't help catching like clips of it. And I caught some of the Henry Cejudo and what's his name, Bumchin, Uriah Faber matchup, which was total domination. I drain myself every day. We all do, bro. Don't you worry about that. Draining the lizard is a very important part of everyday life. This is Oral by a second fight at 170, right? I'm not sure. I was Oral by fighting at 155 and then went up because I don't think he was at. Oh no, he was kind of Oral by. I think Oral by was fighting at middleweight before. He was never a middleweight fighter. He always should have been a welterweight. Chris Curtis should have been as well because he always looked like a. Chris Curtis always looked a little bit. He was always too short and too small for middleweight, and he just looked a little bit thick with it. He always looked a little bit oversized. And I think Chris Curtis is as much of an annoying cunt as he is, and he is an annoying cunt. He got his career started way too late. He was always like a journeyman on the regionals, and then he found himself in a spot where he could, take a short notice fight, took advantage of it. But his career's kind of amounted to the best it ever was going to. So, bro, UFC has become a joke. What has got on Dana to get another title shot? Ollie, it's absolutely fair point. I don't think it has anything to do with Gon sucking dick on the weekend. I mean, I think he is doing that, or he's getting sucked off. I don't know what it is. There's some kind of sexual transaction going on there. It just really paints a picture of what the heavyweight division is like now and how much trouble it's in. The fact that the main heavyweight fighters that get spoken about are not even on the roster. John Jones makes all the headlines for the wrong reasons. Francis Ngannou makes all the headlines for the wrong reasons, and they're not even in the promotion. Tom Aspinall obviously can't fight. The only thing that is a little bit stinky about it, true fans know that Volkov should be getting a title shot at this point in time. The problem with it is that Garn beat him even though he didn't. And that's really where the problem comes in. If I was them, yeah, you can't do it on the White House card, but I would have given what's his name? The guy who's fighting Volkov. I always forget his name because I don't actually think he's Acosta. I would have given him a title shot, but again, he's just not that name, is he? It just stinks of who gives a shit, and that's the problem. Heavyweight's been shit, but it's a weird one now because you just don't have any names you could put in there. A good promotion would surely protect the fighters from injuries and not reward it. The problem with it is that as much as Dana has tried to backtrack and talk about how he wasn't shitting on Tom, he clearly was. I mean, he shat on his own champion. He clearly doesn't care for Tom that much. But this is the thing is, we're all shitting on this, but the thing is, this is the nature of life. Some people just naturally have better relationships with some people than others, and it affects the work relationship. It affects what gets booked. It affects all of it. So the fact is that clearly Dana is not too fond of Tom Aspinall or isn't that close of him, and had no problem shitting on him, and that's exactly what he did. So that's caused a bit of friction, and then it's led us to where we are now. Tom hasn't helped himself as well. All the talk about finishing out his contract and going to boxing. Now he's doing that thing with Eddie Hearn. I don't think that's been brought up enough. I think Sean O'Malley mentioned it in his conversation with the MMA guru where he said what Tom Aspinall is doing is actually very, very dumb. And I agree with that side of it as well, because this is not going to endear himself to the UFC brass whatsoever. He's only got 2 fights left. I'm surprised that they didn't strip him. But I think it would have gone down fairly badly. Frankie, how you doing, Batman? Frankie, would you fart for 10 francs? I do it for free multiple times a day. Dana is shit at his job. Simple as that. Again, I think we're back to the apathy situation. I don't think Dana White cares anymore. Well, I think it's two-part things here. I think Dana doesn't have as much control as most people think he does. The real ones know he doesn't. So he doesn't have the same. He doesn't make the decisions really anymore. At the very best, he's part of a committee that does. At the very worst, he's sort of just a spokesman and a mouthpiece. And he's thinking about other things. He wants to carve his own thing. The problem is, yeah, he's doing Zoo for boxing, and he's not in control of that either, because really Turkey's, controlling him in that aspect as well. So Dana's kind of stuck in this weird place where he doesn't really have anything he can call his own. Power slap is obviously laughed out the building every time it's brought up. Zuffa's never going to really compete. And if they do compete, it will take him at least a decade to do so. We've seen what happens when promotions try to waltz in and buy up talent and stuff, especially at the rate that Zuffa are willing to pay. I don't think it's going to take off. So yeah. You should probably recognize me by now. Well, yeah, Batman. I mean, you do come in here with about 40 different names, you fucking cunt. It's terrible timing. Personally, I think Tom is pissing on his own feet with the Eddie situation. Even if Eddie gets him more money, he will only take it. Well, the issue with it is Eddie Hearn's not doing any promotional stuff with him, or very little of it. He's basically going to be negotiating for Tom. And the last thing you want is to have someone going in there negotiating for you when they don't even like you in the first place. And then you've got a guy who's going to try and hardball as much as possible. I don't understand it. It's a very, very stupid decision. A very, very stupid decision. It's just a spite move for the sake of it. I don't see how it makes any financial or commercial sense for Aspinall to be doing this whatsoever. But Tom doesn't come across as the smartest guy anyway. He comes across as a bit of a blockhead, if I'm being honest. And he looks like he stinks. You know that friend you had that, like, there was always a faint smell of like shit from him? Tom Aspinall looks like that kind of guy. He looks like he smells like shit. But yeah, the Eddie situation, I don't get where the benefit of it is. It's fucking ridiculous. We'll let the gays in the chat decide it. I change my name. Just stay as the same name, man. It's very confusing. But usually your shitty personality comes to the forefront anyway, and we can usually figure you out. The funny thing is, yeah, when you change your name, you start acting decent. And then as soon as you reveal who you are, you go back to being a cunt. Pop a beetle nut and chillax. Good advice. Yeah, so we're a little bit kind of, I don't know. It's a weird situation to be in as fight fans, because we're kind of, yo, am I blocked by the others because I can't see anyone's chat? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if a whole bunch of people blocks you, but I don't know what you can see. I can obviously see everyone's chat, so how would it even work? Can you imagine Eddie negotiating Tom's next fight whilst negotiating his own fight with Dana at the same time? But that's another misconception that's had. Dana has openly admitted that he has not sat down and negotiated with a fighter in contract situations or fight negotiations in years. He said it had been almost a decade since he'd actually sat down and discussed the actual terms. Because the UFC is a machine now. You have your contracts, the circumstances are what they are. You're going to get offered a certain amount of fights. Your pay is going to incrementally go up with how many fights you have. So there's very little negotiating to be done. I think it basically comes down to whether you'll accept the person that they offer you or not, and whether you're comfortable with the place where they're putting the fight on, which a lot of people don't realize is very, very significant, because obviously there's tax implications, there's visa implications, there's travel implications, there's when you can fit camps in. Maybe you're in the middle of a camp with a fighter you're supporting, because all these are obviously gyms have multiple fighters, and so I'll say that side of it is more what the negotiation comes down to, because there's very little that comes into like money, or Tom's contracted to make what he makes. He is the champion. He will make whatever it is to show, whatever it is, probably just a show amount. And then there'll probably be some level of percentage for what new subscribers they get into Paramount. Obviously, with the pay-per-view model being a thing of the past now. So, I mean, I won't be surprised if these people absolutely surprised. The thing is that when I call you a cunt, it's actually out of love, because I do actually enjoy you very much. I was acting normal a few days ago, so it's valid. I become a cunt today. No, I very much value the when you come in and just want to talk about regular things rather than just, steering the chat into ridiculous nonsense. I don't knock you for it though. Batman, we can see your cats, mate. Batman's actually a good bloke. He is. I like Batman. And to be fair to Batman as well, he's a very loyal subscriber. He's always here. Frankie, can you do a brother a favor? I hate when people say this to me. Ask me what the favor is. Do you want me to say, yeah, bro, I can do you a favor? I need to know what it is first. UFC is a bit fucked. Look at the wages for the ones that don't actually make it to the top. I know Brett Johns, and he said the pay was terrible. He's now doing Amazon Flex. But this is what the UFC's model is entirely based on. I'm at 9 subs now, and the 10th one should be you. Say no more, brother. I would love for you to get to 50 subs and start live streaming. That would be sensational. Hang on a second. Give me a moment. I'm going to do that right now. I need to open up my own channel. Hang on a second. That's not right. And go to content. You're going to hear my channels double talking for a second. Hang on a sec. Oh my God. Okay. Give me a minute, Batman. It's to this one, yeah. I didn't know you could change your... I already am subscribed. I've been subscribed. I might have been your very first subscriber, but you should be at 10 now anyway. But yeah, but as I was saying, Ollie, this is how the structure of the UFC is. They pay what they pay. They're always going to say it's not a job and it's an opportunity and all this nonsense. It's basically how it was perfect synergy with how the UFC was taken over by TKO, because they pretty much do the same thing. It's like the brand is the one that's growing and making the money, while the people who work for it get just about enough to tread above water. And I mean, the WWE are much better at paying now, from what I've heard. I mean, I don't watch that shit because I'm not 11, but very similar model to how they got to the level in the stratosphere that they did. And UFC are pulling the exact same shit. And that's just the way it's going to go. I didn't know Brett Johns had gone over to... I think we're going to see a lot of this, though. So I think Netflix are clearly trying to make a play. You've got Jake Paul and obviously his... But we know with the Paul brothers, there's nothing genuine about them. I actually think Jake Paul is less of an evil scumbag than his fucking cunt-headed brother is. But Frankie, when are you going to give me my mod back? Don't know, man. I don't really care about the whole mod situation anymore. I mean, I think Caravaggio is the only mod who's currently in here. It's basically like for some reason, for several weeks, we had a period where too many people were getting banned, and like, it's just, I'm tired of being a viewer like the scum on here. It doesn't really mean anything, because it's like I said, it's not really a channel where people will be getting kicked out. There's the odd person who's usually getting timed out, which ironically is usually you, by the way. You and Pib are probably the only people who get little timeouts. So I don't know. It's we'll see. How you doing, my life? Happy Friday the 13th. I've actually had a very good day so far. It's been good. I went down to London, got visa sorted out for well, my wife got her visa sorted out, and I was spending time with my kids. So I had a nice chilled out day. It's nice visiting London. I saw a couple of ex school friends of mine on Friday night as well. Had a nice little chat with them. It's not Pip, it's Pib. Let's just call him Pip. It's funnier. Bro, if you end up with too many mods, you will end up like Daddy G. At one point, yeah, bro, I'm not kidding. Yeah, it was like everyone in the chat was modded, so I just had to narrow it down. I think we should put you and Pib in a room and just make it only one of you can leave, and just see how that goes. Because you are both blights on this community, and I mean that in the most light-hearted way possible, while absolutely meaning it as well, like saying that genuinely, not even close to kidding. But yeah, there was a point where literally everyone was modding and it was just getting out of control. And then at one point, I looked at my channel, like my like my not my options, like my settings, and I had like over 190 people or something banned, and I've never banned anyone in my life. So I was like, fuck this, man. I've got to rein back on the mods because someone's taking the absolute piss. Frankie, get a Yakuza tattoo. What does a Yakuza tattoo look like? So have I. I'd love it if they brought back the servers for the fight. That would be great. For the the servers for the 13th. That would be great. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. How you doing, Milo? I have tuned into a couple of your lives, and I've got to say, they weren't boring. I hung around for a little bit. I don't know if I'm getting many like what's the word? I don't know if I'm getting a lot of notifications for them. I'm not sure how often you stream, but no, shout out to you and your channel. Probably WMC banning. Friday. Oh, the Friday the 13th game. I've never played it, to be honest with you. And as you can tell, like, if you know this channel, like, I own most things. I just had a copy of Pocopia turn up, and I realized I don't even have my Switch 2 with me. I left it at work. Not that I was ever going to play it. Again, I'm not 11. Hopefully my parents don't kick my freeloading ass out. So you're telling me this is how I know, yeah, your Russian girlfriend, yeah, must be fictitious, yeah. Are you telling me you're clapping cheeks in your parents' house, you dirty dog? I'm saying that like I didn't used to do that back in the day. So that's why I'm judging. I've never. It's very hairy. I'm not a big fan of hair in general, which should be an obvious thing to say. I don't like hairy armpits. I don't like hairy southern regions either. I just like everything nice and clean. That sounded noncy. I wish I could take that back, but you know what I mean. Not too clean. Not like. Anyway, moving on. Happy Friday the 13th to you as well. And again, Batman, I don't know what a Yakuza tattoo is or what it means. I have to do the deed somewhere. Don't you have a job or anything? Go and get a hotel, you degenerate. God's sake. And the way you talk about I mean, I'm assuming it's a sex doll. But either way, you're clearly doing something to someone. It's either a person, as you claim, or it's a blow up doll. But from the way you talk, yeah, parents can hear everything that's going on. I can't go live often. Buy me a coffee suspended, so I have to keep it cool. Yeah, buy me coffee is all right, but as well. What did you get a strike for? Haters, I'm assuming. I'm surprised. I've never ever had a community. I've never ever had a channel strikes for my comments. Funnily, I've had people who have like said racist and horrible stuff to me in the comments, and then I've responded saying, fuck off, you asshole. And then I got like a warning for that, which is crazy. You work at your dad's pizza place. I cannot figure you out at all, mate. It's Madeline McCann. I swear. If anyone's got Madeline McCann, probably Batman. We own a few pizza places, so I'll end up doing the shit he does. No shame in that. I'm sure your dad would be to let you follow the family business, and it must be nice to be. It's a low level nepo baby, but it's a nepo baby nonetheless. You know, that's the dream, isn't it? To basically have something that you can directly hand on to your kids and keep the legacy going. Or I might just get into medical. That's quite the fucking leap, mate. I'm gonna let that silence just hang in the air. The mum sold her. Nah, Caleb, they definitely killed her. Let's just keep it real. I reckon that they sound like some of those parents here who they had kids, and didn't really think about the consequences of it. They thought they could still go out on the evening and have a little bit of a brew. Do you know what I mean? And then they've put and clearly they were doctors, clearly sedated her and given her a dose to and killed her, and then got rid of their own daughter, by the way. That is the only thing that went down. And the thing is, yeah, regardless of whether that happened or not, whether they killed them or not, they're scumbags, yeah. To leave your children I would never do anything resembling that. I wouldn't even think of doing something like that. It's pure insanity. Obviously, you don't want anything like that to happen to a child, but what would they thinking would happen? You leave your young daughter and the other baby in a room by themselves in a foreign place so you can go and have a drink and some dinner with your buddies. You're a stupid cunt. And I'm not saying they deserve to get what they got, because obviously a child is dead in this situation. Let's keep it a buck right now. She's dead. Why do you talk like you're black? I grew up in Southwest London and I grew up around black people. You know how your environment reflects who you are? It's the same way as you probably talk like a fruity little gimp. Same way. You can't help the environment you've grown up in. You've been taking back shots your whole life and being led around on a dog chain. So you probably sound like a fruity little cunt. My parents don't mind when I do it at their place. Of course they don't. Of course they don't. They definitely do, by the way. I used to hear them doing it. The fact that you could hear them doing it all the time sums up exactly how you've turned up. I put you in my MMA community recap trivia. I've got to check that out. Speak proper English, you inbred. I am actually I'm not even gonna flex on you. Um, Shut your face. You clearly got listen, coming from somebody with a French name, yeah, you're clearly a cheesy and coward, yeah. You're probably waving a white flag right now and no one's around. So shut your cowardly face and like and subscribe. I'm looking forward to seeing the gang travel across to Asia, especially Gaz. Yeah, I think Gaz is in Thailand right now. I'm going to Manila next Saturday, and then I've got next summer booked up as well. So I've got plenty of things to look forward to. Suddenly, work became a much brighter place. I was skipping into work on like a jolly. How you doing, Builder Bob? What's good, man? But the inbred stuff is fair play, Bourdieu, and you would know about that as well because you're clearly French, and we know how you don't mind keeping the gene pool nice and pure. Do you know what I'm saying? Mum and dad obviously grew up together. You know what I'm saying? Jew is going too, right? I think he's going. I think he's going on the summer one. I floated the idea with him of coming to Manila when I was going this time, but then brutally didn't have time, and I thought to myself, I don't want to spend 2 weeks babysitting this cunt. Like I love Giuliano, but having just me and him for 2 weeks, I don't know what I don't know. I can barely tolerate him online. I mean, we get into arguments in front of people. Can you imagine what it would be like if we were in each other's faces all the time? I bet you're minted, mate. I'm doing all right. I'm not minted. I'm comfortable. I am comfortable. Which was the aim all along. I've never really been very money motivated. Mama didn't raise a criminal. She raised the bat. What's up, Frank? How you doing, Grimy? What's good, man? Always a pleasure to see you here. Everything's been good. It's been a bit of a shitty week, to be honest. Work has been fucking chaotic. Loads of fights to deal with, loads of drama. And I usually get that at work, but it feels like it's been in overdrive. True, he'd probably get caught up with the care, and you'd have to bail him out of Thai jail. Well, I'm going to the Philippines next week, so it would have been there. But we've seen what happened to Vitali when he fucked around and find out. And I don't sorry, fucked up and found out. And I don't think that I think Giuliano would mostly behave himself, but he'd probably get in trouble for some dumb stuff. But it's more just like the obligation to meet up with him every day because obviously he doesn't know anyone there. So vlogging would definitely be the idea if we're gonna do. And I'm gonna be in Southeast Asia for a whole month, like third week of July until the third week of August. So there's plenty of time to do content. Oh yeah, but vlogging would be great. What's your job? I am a professor of literature, essentially. Watch my most recent video, Jesse. I will. How you doing, bro? Have you got that fight book yet? Pork chop, you legend. How you doing, bro? Always a pleasure when pork chop turns up. I really struggled to put a parlay together for this weekend, so I've only got one fight from this weekend, and I'm not going to say what it is because whenever I do, it always fucks up. But I've got one. I've got one fight from the I've got one fight from the card on, and then I've just thrown a whole load of football on there as well, which I'm hoping pays off because I've got a few that I think are looking fairly, probable. But you know how gambling goes, and we all know it's just going to get spent in the club anyway. So, what's good, Frank? How you doing, Lane? Hope you're well. Shout out to you again for last weekend. You seem to be on a little bit of a hot streak. So if you want to start piling in with some picks for this weekend, I'm inclined to listen because I'm at a fucking loss. I genuinely am. I've got who I want. Like I've got a very clear picture of who I think is going to win each fight, but I'm not confident enough to bet on most of them. How do you think Sean and Hamzat will go? I'm going to say the exact same thing I said about the DDP and Hamzat fight. I think Hamzat will dominate the first round. He'll get a takedown but won't do much. And then he will fail to take Strickland down in the second round. And then Strickland will start piecing him up and then drag him into deep water and then drown him. I think Sean Strickland wins by unanimous decision. And he wins 4 rounds to 1. In fact, I'm going to say it's a split decision, but Sean Strickland wins 4 rounds to 1 clearly. That's what I'm going with. And that's how I think it will go. I'm going Sean Strickland all day long. And Sean Strickland would become my favorite fighter of all time. If he could humiliate Israel Adesanya and then Hamzat Chimaev, he'd be my hero of all time. The Brits colonized the world for spices just to not use that shit in their own food. It's all about mogging, mate. It has nothing to do with. It's like we took, Indian gold, Indian jewels. We took shit from China, and then we just stuck it behind glass and went, "Come and get it if you want to, bitches." That's how British people roll. We don't steal your shit for necessity. We do it to remind. Also, I keep saying we. They do it to remind people what bitches they are. Did anyone ever tell you look like Ellen Page before she started trying to look like a man? Yes. That was the first accusation that I got when I first came on YouTube. And it was weird because I had longer hair then and looked like a proper pedo. But yeah, I've had that thrown at me a few times. But to be fair, yeah, I've been told I look like about 50 different people. So it's hard to get offended by any of it. You need a trip to Turkey soon. That hair ain't hairing. No, my hair's perfectly fine, mate. Like I said, I'm 41 years old. I've got a nice full head. I've got no gaps anywhere, no bald spots. I've just got naturally thin hair. It is what it is. I'm really rooting for Sean, but I can see him getting strangled quick. He's not going to get strangled. The thing is with Sean Strickland, yeah, he's not the hardest to take down, but he is very, very, very hard to keep down. And at the very least, yeah, I think Hamzat will get him down. But I think Sean will fight every step of the way. He won't accept the position, and he will make Hamzat tired. I'm very, very frustrated here with the amount of people who are saying, "Oh, Hamzat's proven he's got 5-round cardio." He doesn't. DDP didn't do anything. DDP did not make Hamzat work at all. All Hamzat needed to do was have enough energy for one takedown in each round, and then when he got it, he just fucking teabagged him. He didn't have to exceed any energy, like he did against Gilbert Burns, like he did against Kamaru Usman. I don't believe Hamzat's cardio thing is behind him. And by the way, shout out to you, Stevie, yeah, for I know you're a regular watcher of the shorts here. Shout out to you, you son of a gun. That fight goes long for sure. I think it does as well. Do you think Hamzat's going to bang Sean Strickland out in the first round? No. Sean Strickland is a very good grappler. And he's not an elite grappler, as people seem to go, oh, yeah, he's elite in the gym. What he's elite at is getting the fuck up, working, not accepting positions. Sean Strickland is going to make him work. 1,000,000%. I don't even know who Jordan Barrett is. The British mastered the art of passing people. Exactly. Ellen Page has thin hair too on her mangina. And this is coming from somebody who's actually one of my boys, you know. Frankie, you should eat our pizzas. We use fresh buffalo mozzarella and not mozzarella from a buffalo's ass. I've always wondered what buffalo mozzarella meant. If Shawnee does him in, he's the GOAT. I couldn't agree more. Tyra and Yuri will win. I think Tyra's definitely going to win. And I think he gets it done relatively easily. The UFC are definitely going to have their first Japanese champion. I think Tyra gets it done very, very simply. Yuri, on the other hand, I'm nervous. Because I've said some really disparaging shit about Allberg in this channel. I've called him a simp. I've said he's got no game. I've obviously alluded to the fact that he takes pipe on, you know, him and Hooker and Adesanya are in a little triangle. I've been making jokes about that for years. Didn't realize how I was just joking. I didn't realize how true it is. But anyway, Allberg's actually quite good. I do think he got a bit lucky with the Jan Blachowicz fight. I don't think he won. But yeah, I worry. I'll back Yuri all day. He's my favorite fighter, favorite personality in the UFC. But this is a tough fight. And I just feel like MMA keeps breaking my heart. And this is going to be another one. Hey, do you want to meet at Lidl for a scrap? What's a Lidl? I don't know what a Lidl is. Do I look like a peasant, sir? Sean is going to work the jab and teep and make Hamzat chase for the takedown. Unlike DDP running forward, swinging wildly. I completely agree with Tyler. I think this is going to prove, this is going to be one of those like clear examples of styles make fights. I genuinely do. I think Hamzat is going to get fraud checked worse than he could have ever imagined. This is what I'm expecting. And I love Sean Strickland as well. And I hate Hamzat. So, Frankie, I never told you anything about how we make our pizzas. I didn't know that you made pizzas. I didn't know that you lived with mummy and daddy. This is all fresh information to me. I'm surprised there hasn't been more Japanese judokas in the UFC, at least not in the last 25 years. Well, the reason being for it, Pork Chop, is obviously there was Pride, but one championship exists around there, and so does one. So that there are multiple options for fighters from that region to compete in. And there's a lot more cards within Japan, which is where they'd rather fight. So from that standpoint, it makes all the sense. It's the same reason why we haven't seen a lot of Thai fighters in the UFC. Despite what the UFC would like to make you believe, they are not the be-all and end-all of global MMA. They aren't. In fact, most of Eastern society doesn't give a singular fuck about the UFC. And I know because I was in China and one was bigger there. One is bigger in Thailand. And these are places that have hardcore fighting communities, much more hardcore than a lot of places in the West. And they don't give a singular fuck about the UFC. So they needed a decent fight announcement after that shite house card. We got it with Hamzat and Sean Strickland, obviously. But then what they've done so brilliantly is they've kind of shoveled it in with the rest of the absolute bullshit that they're doing for the rest of the year. I mean, have a look at my thumbnail and tell me quite honestly, yeah, what fights on that thumbnail are you like, holy shit, I cannot wait. I'll wait. In fact, I won't. They're all pretty much meh at best, either meh or just shit. The only like, oh shit, this we got what we wanted was Strickland versus Hamzat. The rest of them were like, huh? Why? Okay. Those are the three reactions that the rest of those announcements got from me. Genuinely. How you doing, WMC? What's good, brother? Is the Apex better now? It's amazing that they're still doing fights there. There are so many cities and so many places that deserve to have a live audience. But I've been to a UFC event. I went to a UFC numbered card, obviously in London. And I'm going to say something controversial right now. And it's not even controversial. I've been to one championship. I've been to Bellator. And I've been to the UFC. And the UFC was by far the worst product I watched out of the three, watching it live. Bellator was, I did watch it in Dublin. So that might have had something to do with it. And the one card I obviously watched over in Thailand. I'm going to try and go to another one over the summer. So yeah, like going to a live event isn't even. I'm going on a little bit of a ramble here, but going to a live UFC event ain't what it cracked up to be, and it was by far the most expensive. I paid like £150 for 2 Prime Bellator tickets, and the event was incredible. Fighters were walking around after they fought. You could meet people, you know, you could do a little bit of picture taking. I got a picture with Cowlin Lochran. So if you guys ever want to know how tall I really am, yeah. So Cowlin Lochran is I think he's registered as like 5'5" or 5'6". I was like a full head above him. He should have been asking for my autograph. I mean, I didn't ask for his autograph, but he should have been asking to take a picture of me. Have you seen how expensive this fucking country is? I know, mate. Rent is high, but mate, your whole generation is cursed. You're going to be living with your mum and dad until you're 40. Until they get sick of all those weird noises coming out of your room and they kick you out. They're lowballing everyone. It's not as if they're strapped for cash. The UFC could lose supremacy in no time. I honestly don't think they ever will. Because the problem is, yeah, they're at a stage now where they've got such, for the next generation or two at least, they've got a very, very loyal, hardcore fan base. I complain about the UFC all the time, but I'm never going to stop watching it. Do I watch it with the same enthusiasm? Am I playing video games often while the card's on over my shoulder? Hell yeah, but I'm still watching, you know, still watching. They have enough of a base here to coast for the next 15, 20 years. And they've got the infrastructure now. They've got the back end. They've got the best fighter, well, not the best fighters in the world. They've got the whole infrastructure now. Anyone trying to catch them up, you're going to need like something Saudi-led to get it done. And they're kind of in bed with Dana at the moment. But I do expect that Turkey's going to do the same thing to Dana that he's just done to Eddie Hearn. He's going to get to know the ropes of everything. And then he's going to... He had the guy had Dana holding his hand in public. He might as well just taken his pocket out and given it to Dana and said, here, take my pocket, lad. You bitch. Take my pocket. I mean, I do take care of me parents. How you doing, Mr. Slothman? What's good, man? You, 40-year-old, has it better. No, the thing is that I came from that cutoff point generation as well. So if I didn't leave the country and get married when I did, I would have been in the same boat as every other dumb fucker here. But this up here on me is just a little bit different. And down there is obviously a little bit different because the dick was just sliding towards the Asian women, the old yellow plague as we talk about on every fucking stream. In 2026, you're more likely to get homeless than find a stable place to live. But that's why your generation has to start respecting your parents here and stop acting like entitled little cunts. Because you definitely, well, not your generation, probably the one just underneath it, are disrespectful as fuck. Like you don't respect your elders at all. And you're entitled little shits. The mindset of an Irish gooner. I don't need to goon, man. Why extract the milk yourself when you've got somebody else to do it for you? That's a childish mentality we're talking about now. But yeah, Gen Z is cooked. I mean, we're all cooked ultimately, but some are more cooked than others. I respect my parents, bruh. I don't know these toddlers. Well, yeah, you're not from that generation. You're not from the youngest generation. You're in your 20s, isn't it? So yeah, I think we're basically in a very similar sort of. I don't think our generation and yours is that different. It's the ones coming up that you got to worry about. They are completely out of control. Completely. Mhm. But it's good that you respect your parents. Obviously, that's important. Yeah, you're in your 20s, exactly. So you're kind of caught in that awkward phase where you still got a little bit of old school mentality in you, but you're still in that kind of side where like buying property these days, getting a job that can allow you to get your own independence is hard, man. But it was hard for my generation as well. I mean, most people my age, they lived with their parents until they were in their 30s. And then they basically realized that they had to couple up or else they were done. So they had to find somebody that made as much money as them, if not more, and then use that as a way of like working. And then eventually you get divorced or your relationship ends and then you end up worse than back to square one. It's not a nice situation to live in now. That's why with my kids, yeah, I'm setting everything up now. It is hard for everyone. It is, unless you're in that like ridiculous 1%, you're always in danger of being flushed down the drain, to be perfectly honest. But life isn't always about money and security. You can go about and still have great times and, it's still worth living. I'm not saying we're all, oh, fuck it, we might as well kill ourselves now. Like, it's not like that. But certainly, it's harder to get the independence. When you're a young kid, you look at your parents and you say to yourself, it's like an automatic thing of like, I'm going to own a house. I'm going to get married. I'm going to have a good job. There's like this automatic thing that you feel like you just got to grow up, make the right decisions, you'll be fine. The sad fact is now you can make all the right decisions or you can make all good decisions and still end up struggling for the majority of your life, not owning your own place, constantly being in debt. And you can do that by not fucking up on the weekend or having a bad lifestyle or anything like that. That can still happen to you just because the same opportunities just aren't there. And it's because, again, I mean, it's been well publicized, but like that 1% are getting the gap between the 1% and the rest of us is getting wider and wider. And those resources have to go somewhere. And while they're expanding their power, influence, resources, it's being taken away from the majority. And that's always going to result in an imbalance. And that imbalance is getting broader and broader. Real question: if you were a top 20 fighter, age 20, would you sign with the UFC after how they treated Nate, Connor, Ronda, Ducky Jones, Aspinall, and Ilya recently? Honestly, I still probably would. Because the thing you get out of UFC that's probably more valuable than money, and these modern fighters are benefiting from this, you get other opportunities that lead into other things. Like if you handle yourself in the right way, you don't necessarily have to get your. What the smart people are doing now is they're using the UFC to launch other financial streams of income. So most of the UFC fighters, and they talk about this quite openly, the majority of their money doesn't come from their fight purses or their sponsorships, what they get with the UFC. It comes from taking advantage of other opportunities. It might be starting their own businesses. It might be starting their own gyms. It could be anything. It doesn't even necessarily have to be UFC related, but it could be just getting involved with people that are move makers and can create business opportunities for you and shit like that. So I would say I honestly would, in terms of if I was a Western fighter, I would certainly aspire to be in that organization because the eyeballs that it puts in you to you, or on you rather, and the connections that it allows you to make. If you're a smart guy, I was about to say smart person, but women don't count as anything, or as relevant. So like if you're a smart guy, you can um you can take advantage of that. And I still think despite all the shit we give it, it's more because most of us who are fans of the UFC, we look back on how good it was, 10, 20 years ago, and we just want things to be like they were, basically like a free for all where shit talking was at the forefront and you could pretty much get away with doing whatever you wanted. And it was all about that macho, manly sort of, it was a boys' club basically. And now, unfortunately, our sport has gotten so big, it's now mainstream, and that was inevitably going to lead to changes. And that's basically where we're at with it. Children these days are disrespectful little shits, so we are cooked. Oh, they're definitely not going to look after us. There's no way. So we have to make sure we're putting ourselves in a position that when we get to that ripe old age, I've already got a plan for my ripe old age. I've got a very good plan. Do you love your parents, Frankfurt? Of course I do. I mean, my father passed away when I was 22, but I didn't have the best relationship with him. But he was my father, innit? I mean, he had his demons. We didn't have the closest relationship. But I'll always respect him, you know. And I adore my mom. I meet up. I take her to the movies every week, or at least every 2 weeks. And she's obviously going through what she's going through. So now I've got a lot of respect for my parents. I've been on a Mark Coleman fight binge. His second fight with Fedor is brutal. And the knees to the head versus Ivor. Mark Coleman was a savage. I kind of miss getting heavyweights like that were legit like jacked to fuck. You know what I mean? Was Mark Coleman the most skilled? Nah, but he was fun to watch. But it's just another bygone era. It's been downhill since the tournament style went away. I still think that I've been complaining about not having tournaments in the UFC for a while now. There are drawbacks and positives to both ways, and I think in a lot of ways they do have like unofficial tournaments in the UFC. And the problem with having the tournament format is as soon as a winner gets injured, it fucks the whole thing. We've seen it happen in PFL for years now. It's very rare that the winners from every bracket go all the way through to the without any interruption. Obviously, there have been people who have won all the way through and won it because that's how it's won. But it's very rare that you get winner versus winner versus winner all the way through. Because I always end up having to draft somebody in, and then there's always fuckery that goes on. How you doing, Samuel? What's good, brother? Every generation faced hardship, and corporations these days will suck you dry before you realize it. Yeah, it's more that the problem is they're not the more money they obviously have, the less that our wages are going to be, the higher that tax is going to be, the more expensive the properties are going to be. It just all because they're taking money from us from every avenue. Every time we buy something, every time we rent something, every time we go anywhere, their hand is out for every single thing that we're doing. Oh shit. So it's just that everything's too expensive these days, and the rate of inflation is far exceeding the rate that salaries are going up, or the percentage that salaries are going up, and that's always going to fuck us. Nice to see you here, Samuel. Good man, Frankie. Look after the mum. Yeah, I adore my mum. I adore my mum. We had like a very challenging like childhood and stuff growing up, but it wasn't through fault of our own, and we've got a very close family as a result of it. If you compete at the highest level, whether it be any sport, you should be allowed to be enhanced if you choose. I kind of agree with you to a certain extent, but I agree with that in other sports. Yeah, when it comes to fighting, I think what they should do, yeah, is they should have like what they're doing with the not the Olympics, or with like where they have like the enhanced games or whatever. They should just do that with MMA and just say, look, mate, you can experiment with whatever shit you want, get all the surgeries you want, use all the gear that you want, and we'll just see who's the best gearhead, who is the best juice head. Because I guarantee you, yeah, it would be fucking entertaining. It's the same reason why I want heavyweight women in the UFC, and I want a bodybuilder division in the UFC as well. Because fuck it, I like a good freak show. That's the fun of the game. Have to really preserve yourself, fight quick. The thing is, yeah, I do think they should legalize performance enhancers because that's how we're going to get to superhuman status. If they start making it legal and then they start regulating it, the progress that we're going to make in that industry is going to be so much quicker because the problem with it now, yeah, is like it's not regulated and there's a lot of shady shit going on in the background. And that's why the progress in the industry hasn't made what it could make. If they started getting really scientific with it, they're doing it in they're doing it in China already with genetic engineering. Wankers, tax these nuts. This is what I'm saying, Stevie. We've got to get the fuck out of Europe, mate. I'm telling you, 18 months to 2 more years, your boy's out of here. I'm gonna get that sack of cash over my shoulder and get the fuck out. I prefer to work at my parents' place. Hopefully my mama can be proud of me. I'm sure she is, mate. All you've all you've got to make sure is that she doesn't get into your chat log history. Aaliyah, how you doing? Aaliyah, are you the I'm probably Alia? Alia, are you from are you the lady that was from Argentina? Or maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. Regardless of that, welcome to the channel or welcome back, as the case may be. Oh man, a bodybuilder fight division would be awesome. I may be a bit biased though. Yeah, I know because you're one of those lads, aren't you? Lemos or Robertson? Good. I think this is the only fight that I bet on, and I'm not going to say what I did for it. I'm not going to say who I picked or why. I actually think that Lemos is going to beat her. Now the thing is, yeah, Robertson obviously has very, very good takedown defense, and Lemos has struggled with that. She's been submitted in a few of her fights. But I don't think Gillian Robertson is that good. I would pipe Gillian Robertson something vicious like that video where she sat on the fucking couch and she's got a nice fucking doobie in her hands. I think we were all thinking the same thing. Pipe City. Oh, you're from India. Apologies. I thought I recognized you in the chat. Shout out to you and shout out to India. Congratulations on the cricket T20 World Cup, by the way. I'm going with Lemos because I don't think Gillian Robertson is actually that good. I don't like the level of competition that she's faced. Is she a baddie? Would I pipe? I know you didn't ask me, but I'm telling you anyway. You know how this channel is. We have to get Frankie's pipe meter in here at some point. I think Lemos is going to win a very, very close decision. Because I think Gillian Robertson's striking isn't the best. And even though she does have decent takedowns and her jits game is obviously very, very high level, I'm not convinced that she can transition that wrestling to get her into that position. I think Lemos will be able to stave off most of the takedown attempts, and that she's going to mostly piece her up. But I can see her being on bottom for maybe one round, but then piecing her up for the other two. So I'm going with Amanda Lemos to win by decision. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. But it's a tough one, yeah, because Lemos is a very heavy underdog, and she should be. But you can't really bet on her because she has been submitted in her last few, and she is older, a lot older. But you can't really bet on Gillian Robertson because the odds on her are far too big. Like, I don't think she's worth that. So if you're going to bet on it, I see this as like a 50-50 fight. So in that case, if you're going to bet on the fight, I would 100% bet on Lemos because the odds on her are just much better. I don't think the odds represent the disparity between the two women's skill set at all. I think this is just about 50-50. One of these women is going to get their games off, and I'm banking on Lemos being the one that does it. You'd need to split into a clean and juice division, or juicing would be obligatory, like in the early 2000s. That's what I'm saying. It should just be the enhanced FC. Where are you from? I'm actually Irish, but I grew up in the UK. I grew up in Southwest London. Hence why I sound like a black guy. I'm from Pakistan. He's not. Don't let him gaslight you. Lemos W. So I agree with you, Tyler Betts. I think it will be a relatively close fight. As in, like, it will go to decision, but I think it will be a clear Lemos 2-1. Rousey Carino, will it be fake? Like a Paul's fake ass fights. Who you got? Rousey probably wins it. Because even though she's been dabbling around in UFC, at least she's been in WWE, at least she's been doing something physical. I hope Gina Carano wins it because she's hot and likable, and Ronda Rousey is an annoying piece of shit. I never liked Ronda Rousey. I could always, like how you get stink waves coming off someone. I could see cunt waves coming off this cunt from the very, very beginning. I never liked her. I always thought she was an entitled, delusional, dumb prick. And frankly, I want to see her get dusted out, and I hope she does. But yes, I'm saying that Rousey's probably gonna win. Could it be fake? Very likely. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising. Me and you wrestling match. Did your winner takes all be there or be square? That's quite the proposition. How you doing, Dion or Dion? Carano was never that legit, and now after years of not fighting, it's going to be a joke. I think Ronda Rousey's probably going to submit her pretty quickly. Ronda Rousey by vicious scissoring in the third. Stephen, I'm going to be honest here. That wouldn't do anything for me. Now, if a Carano titty could pop out, we don't like that. But Rousey ain't even hot. This is the downside to it. It's like she's a melt. Napoleon Dynamite is underrated. You look like him, Frank. You know this upsets me. How you doing, James Dillon? What's good, brother? Ronda got so much humble pie. It was awesome. TDA, the thing is here, she got humbled, as in like to everyone else, but she didn't take on the humbling, and that's the problem. She's still as delusional and stupid as she ever was. She had too many people sucking her off and saying, "Oh, you're so good. You could beat Floyd Mayweather." Like they had too many people sucking her off. And she still hasn't got out of that bubble. She had that idiotic coach of hers who could not help but look at Derek Lewis, man. Have you seen Derek Lewis's wife? Oh my God. And he was proudly talking about clapping those cheeks. She looked like a drag queen. Like, to be perfectly honest. Derek Lewis's taste in women doesn't. Ronda Rousey is a beauty queen to Derek Lewis. Of course he is. No, he doesn't. No, you don't, bro. Ronda should fight the winner of the Ngannou fight. Have you watched Interstellar? I have, man. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Come on, 25-year-old Rousey was hot. Nah, she wasn't. But the thing is, you got to remember, Steven, yeah, I'm not into white chicks. So maybe I'm a little bit biased. But there are some white chicks that I find attractive. She was definitely not one of them. It's that one picture she had. You know where she's kind of like turning like this and she looks all lean? She looks good, yeah, like in that photo. But when you actually and she kind of looked good during the McGregor. But women can look good on any given night, you know. Every dog has its day. And Ronda Rousey is a street five. Ronda looks like a Marlboro Reds and Miller Lite girl. Precisely. James Dillon is saying she looks like a crackhead, and she's right. Do you watch cricket? I don't watch cricket, but I used to play it when I was a kid. This is going to be deeply offensive to you, and I apologize in advance, but I find watching cricket to be incredibly boring, especially Test cricket. However, T20 is decent. And you winning it is obviously a big deal. It means a lot to the country. So shout out to you. Shout out to India. My Middle Eastern ass loves blondes. Take all my women, dude. I'll trade. I don't like Middle Eastern women as well, though. They're too hairy. Granted, I will say, though, that Middle Eastern women are definitely pretty. You do have some pretty ones out there. But it's the hairy arms, bro. I just can't get with it. If Ronda and Gina is not mud wrestling, they have missed a huge payday. I don't think so. The thing is, Gina Carano, like I personally don't find her hot yet because she's a bit too butch for me. And the real ones know what I'm saying. She's a bit too like she's not thick in like a damn she fit kind of way. She like looks muscular and kind of big in it. She ain't for me. But Middle Eastern chicks shave their backs before dates. True story. I turned the camera off for a second. Don't ask me why. The people who have been here know why. What happened to the stream? Oh, nothing's happened. It's here. I'm right here. I just turn my camera off from time to time just in case I've got some impressionable youth in here. Do you know what I'm saying? All right, got a roll at the gym. Have a good one, bro. Have a good session. Mate, when I discovered a certain races of women don't grow their hair on their legs, it was a good day. Yeah, I mean, that's a thing. That's another thing that puts me off. Like hair in general puts me off. I'm saying you can have a little bit down there because bald just looks, it feels wrong. Like when I see just a completely bald snatch, I'm like, "Ugh." There's something very unsettling about it. However, on the other side, it's like I don't like hairy arms, hairy legs, hairy armpits. That's an instant out you go and no taxi. Do you know what I'm saying? The excuse gets made. And the thing is, yeah, I'm at a stage in my life here where I don't even make good excuses. As long as the point is driven home is you need to be somewhere else. I don't really care what feelings are involved. And I know that sounds cold, but the quicker I can expedite the process of you getting out the door, the better. Um, so yeah, I don't know what I was rambling about, but yeah, I don't like hair is basically what my rounded point was. You know, I just don't think it's an attractive quality on a female. But yeah, I mean the Ronda and Carano fight is obviously completely ridiculous. But the fact, and you know, they've added obviously Ngannou and Felipe Lins. I mean, we can get into the Ngannou situation. What about a snatch with a thin layer of hair on it, like Ellen Page's muff? I think that's fine. I think trimming is always the better option than the outright shave. I don't want women shaving their shit off either, because like I said, it just feels a little bit unnatural, you know. But I don't like a I'm a very particular individual. Like, you know, you've got to pass a lot of checkpoints to get my attention. Someone asked me what I rate myself out of 10, and on that note, solid 5, mate. But like I said, I make it work. How you doing, Connor? What's good, bro? What's good in the hood? How's your week been? As always, it's good to be back. Fridays are always a little bit dead around here, but I do enjoy um I do enjoy the Friday community. It's a little bit more intimate. You know, the real ones turn up and we can just have a little bit of a nice back and forth. I like 'em fuzzy with a big bean. Yeah, I mean I don't mind having a very obvious target zone to take care of. I need all the help I can get, you know? I'm okay with it, but hairy forearms is about my well, see you hairy forearms is about my line. Southern Italian babes occasionally need to comb that shit. I mean, that's crazy. Ha, no Diddy, you're better than a 5. I mean, I'm obviously saying that for a fact. I would say, or realistically, I would say that the whole numbers thing is mad because, like, you're gonna have people that say you're a 1. You're gonna have well, you can't have one person say you're a 1 and one person say you're a 10. But you know what I'm saying? Different strokes for different folks in it. Variety is the spice of life. Um, I've never been called ugly, but like I have been called a rat faced cunt. So, how you been, brother? I've been all right, man. Shit week at work. Looking forward to relaxing with my family, though. I think that's been going around. You know, I had literally 5 good weeks in a row at work, and I knew that the shit was gonna hit the fan, and it absolutely hit the fan this week. Every day this week at work was absolutely chaotic. You know, some of my favorite students were giving me a hard time as well. It was difficult. It was a challenging week, and I'm not somebody I'm a very patient person while I'm at work. And obviously I care about a lot of my students, some more than others, but I'm generally very, very patient with them. And I almost had a few crash outs this week. I was on the brink. Yeah, exactly, Tinos. It is what it is, isn't it? I don't worry about it. I focus on the ones that get down with what I'm like, and the ones that don't, I don't bat a second eye about it. The one thing I never do that a lot of people make a mistake doing, because a lot of people are naturally attracted to people that reject them. If somebody's not feeling the type that I am, I'm not going to go out of my way to prove that I'm good for that person or that I can get that person. I just move on. Fortunately, it doesn't happen to me that often, if ever. But you know what I'm saying? When I was about 18, I was trying to get these girls to shave it all. These days, I need to request a little bit of foliage. It's gone in the completely opposite direction. And it's an awkward conversation to have. Because how do you say to a woman, it would be better if you had a little bit of hair? It's a weird conversation to have. Bro, when are you coming to London? I think you mentioned I was there yesterday into this. I only came back to Cambridge a couple of hours ago. I say a couple of hours ago. I got back at like 2 o'clock. This is why I need to hit you up on Twitter or somewhere. I was I was I went to London last night and I came back at like 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. But I will be going back again after I come back from Manila, so we can definitely meet up and have a brew or something. Smoke a little herb. And that's herb, not herb, you American weirdos. You sound like a lunatic. Again, different strokes, in it. One man's lunatic is another man's hero. I don't know what to tell you. But you've certainly come in here with heat, and I know you. The fact that you're back says more about you than it does about me. Let's be real. Next time, let me know. Oh, I'll never let the drinks be on you, mate. My generosity is known. We will definitely get it in. Definitely. And I'm willing to meet up anywhere in London. Yesterday would have been a bit of a mad one anyway, because I met some old friends of mine who I've known since I was like, one of them I've known since I was 3 years old, like literally. We were friends from when we met in nursery, and we've been friends ever since. And the other one is another very close friend of mine who I met when I was 11, secondary school. So it was a nice little catch up with them. And then I had a whole load of shit to do this morning. So it would have been tricky, but I'm definitely going to come down to London, I think 3, 4 weeks from now. So hit me up on Twitter if you haven't already. I'll send you the at again. And then Tinos, I'll send you my WhatsApp number. Let's all get some drinks. Hang on a sec. Real quick. Oh, yeah. Yesterday you were out of your berth. So yeah, it might have been a tricky one, but we'll definitely get it done. You've always been a solid bloke, and like I said, you've been in there for a while. So I would definitely love to meet up and hang out. And then you can confirm the fact that I'm 5'7", which is mad to say that people think I'm lying about being 5'7". Who lies about being 5'7"? Real question: would the women's division not be better if it's split into heterosexual feminine women and the lesboid muntas in another division? I would love to see the conversation went down where they were dividing them up. How are you doing, Arseni? Is that Hebrew? Fuck are you doing here? Frankie munches the carpet. You damn right I do, bro. You damn right I do. I am a certified snorkeler and I am proud of it. Why did I think you're tall though? It's the aura. The aura is just outstanding. Are you a boy or a girl? I am a man, so neither. And Gerard, I've just met you. I have definitely deep dived in more plunge than you could ever dream of. You've definitely watched more pussy than I have, because that's basically probably all you do. But it must, like, I'm gonna let this painful fact sink in for you, yeah? You're asking me if I'm a boy or a girl, but the fact remains, you can say I'm transgender, you can say I look like a 12-year-old girl. I get more pussy than you have ever gotten. And I guarantee I'm richer too. So go fuck yourself. And like and subscribe. I'm not even joking. Do butch lesbians not have a testosterone advantage? I don't think that's a scientific fact. But I see where you're coming from. But then the thing is, women's MMA is boring enough already. The only entertainment we sometimes get is when one woman slimes out an actual woman. And I can't believe I just used the term slime, but it seems to be the only language that people understand these days. But I see where you're coming from. But bad matchups are what make MMA fun, because the problem is we've seen it happen numerous times in the past when we're watching MMA events. When fighters are too evenly matched, and physically matched. It can sometimes be boring for that reason because fighters canceled each other out. Sometimes we need like a sacrificial lamb to get in there. You know what I'm saying? So that we have these destructive moments where someone gets effectively napped, like live for our viewing pleasure. How you doing, Smelly Fingers? What's good, brother? How are you? Always good to have you in here. Shout out to you. Now, I'm not sure what time the card is starting tomorrow, but I think it's going to be somewhat early-ish. So I'm going to try and get on. How you doing, Mitch? What's good, man? I'm all right, man. I've had a rough week at work, but it's over now. I've got one more week left, and then it's assuming the flights don't get cancelled. You look like an Emma. Okay. I'm fine. French fries have killed more people than steroids or peptides ever had. I 100. But then more people eat French fries than they do take steroids and peptides, though I'm assuming. So if you're looking at it proportionately, I would argue that probably the percentage of people that die from steroids that take them are higher than those that take French fries. But people have the right to put whatever they want to in their bodies, you know? Bro, can I ask your opinion about something completely out of context? Tinos, that is the beauty of this channel. Nothing is out of context. Glad to hear you're well, Smelly Fingers. Biggest sells were Rousey by far. Men and women watched her. Nunes was a far more dangerous fighter, but nobody tuned in. The thing is there with the Ronda Rousey thing, she came on at the right. Let's not forget, yeah, she came along when McGregor was at his pomp as well, or maybe just before it. But she came in at a time when the UFC was really starting to take off, and they marketed her really, really well. And the reason why I say that is because when you let this cunt string more than 5 words together, she is embarrassing, like genuinely horrible to listen to. She's a nasty piece of work. But the thing is, they managed to market her brilliantly. They had her on the right talk shows. They had her making movie appearances, doing this and that. The way they handled her was masterful. Patchy Mix would beat the brakes off Ronda. I don't know. I used to say that Patchy Mix was the best bantamweight in the world. Leave my zesty potato ticks alone. Do you think I'm serious? It's calm, seriously dating a 29-year-old woman as a 21-year-old, in your opinion? Yeah, I think it's fine. Well, I've told you guys about how I dated an Indian woman like back in the day. Well, she was British Indian, but she was like 6 years older than me, and I learned a lot from that situation. What I would say, Tinos, yeah, use it as a learning experience because age and maturity are two completely different things. And it's not like she's old; she's 29, and 29-year-old women are very, very nice to fuck with, yeah, especially if they don't have kids, because they're in that weird transition phase where they're worried about coming out of their prime, but they're still kind of in it. So you can have a hell of a good time with a 29-year-old if you catch them in the right spot. Chris Cyborg has a huge cock, the biggest in here. Newcastle dominated Barcelona. Do you think they've got a chance in the second leg? Nah, I'm just glad that we didn't embarrass ourselves. The thing is, yeah, I was really devastated that we only drew with them. But to be perfectly honest with you, even if we'd won 1-0, it wouldn't have made any difference. We could have. I'll be real with you, Gazor. Yeah, we could have won 3-0 or 4-0 in the first leg, and I still wouldn't have thought it was over. I think Barcelona are gonna tear us to shreds back at the new camp because there's too much space, and the way that they knock the ball around, the way they dominate possession, we struggle with teams like that. Desperate is the word I was looking for. Fun fact: Chris Cyborg is Vanderlei Silva's sister. They're the same person. Because we're really feeling each other, and I'm mature for my age. You get me? 100%, bro. Yeah. The thing is, yeah, at the end of the day, if it feels right, it feels right. It doesn't matter. You're both easily over the age of consent, so it's cool. Now, me personally, I wouldn't do it the other way around. I think what you're saying is way more acceptable than the other way around. If you were 29 and you were dating a 21-year-old, I'd say, nah, probably don't do that. Even though it's perfectly, socially acceptable, I wouldn't do it because you suddenly realize like the maturity and experience gap. But no, if you're feeling it, man, I say go for it. Like, fuck it. Is it gonna last forever? Probably not. Well, definitely not. It's not gonna last forever. Is it gonna last? Maybe not. But take every situation as a learning experience. And the thing is, if it's feeling great, then go with it. Embrace that shit because sometimes those moments in life are few and far between. Controversial, but I do Cyborg. I bet it has a crazy grip. There are worse monstrosities out there than Cyborg. I wouldn't give her a stick because I have a feeling, Pork Chop, you may be in a better situation than I am. But I expect you, if I put Frankie's meat stick anywhere near that, I wouldn't get it back. Do you know what I mean? You ever show your girl Ronda fighting, they love it. She fights like a girl. Women dig it. Yeah, I never have done that. But you see, my missus is from China, obviously. So we've got Wei Li. So she gets off on that. Say no more. I appreciate your opinion. Sweet, bro. And I hope it goes very, very well. Because all the joking I do about relationships being dog shit and women being cunts and all that shit. Genuinely, when things are good with you and a female, it's nice, man. It's the best situation to be in. She could outblock box Floyd Mayweather. What we should have done is we should have, as a community, we should have gaslighted her more and more, yeah, so she actually did it. Because Mayweather would have got off on doing it as well. He would have not gone lightly on her, and it would have been fucking hilarious to watch. Yeah, anything in the world is a learning experience. We students for life in it, exactly, bro. Just enjoy it for what it is, and always have an exit strategy and B, like a, I don't know, like a scenario in your mind when it's over. Do you know what I mean? Never put yourself in that space where it's like, what would I do if this? Because the one thing I cannot respect in people is when a relationship breaks down and then they lose their shit. I never respect that. People having fucking meltdowns of, oh, I lost the love of my life. Get over it, bruv. You will never see me simping that way for a woman. Never. Easy money, smelly fingers. Mayweather has zero problems. The fact that he's fighting Pacquiao again, I mean, whenever 50 Cent talks about somebody, I listen. And 50 Cent has been saying for years that he is going to go broke because of the way that he spends money and he's not as rich as he makes out. So this Pacquiao fight is testament to that. Remember when Dana said Ronda could take Floyd? But of course he would say that. Dana's overreaching problem was that in a real fight, Ronda Rousey could probably take Mayweather. And I mean, it's not true, but there is I'm a boxing fan. I started off as a boxing fan and I became more of an MMA hardcore. And I'm not even really an MMA. I'm more of a UFC hardcore. But I very much prescribe to the view that MMA fighters are just better than boxers because they have more of a diverse skill set, plain and simple. Will there be some boxers that can fucking slime out an MMA fighter if they met on the street? Yes, they could. But I would say if you did, in the majority of cases, the MMA fighter is always going to win one-on-one versus a boxer when you can do whatever you want. But Pork Chop, that, like, I don't blame Dana for saying that because it's funny, isn't it? And it's promotional. I don't think he really believed it. What's funny is that Ronda would destroy Floyd in a real fight. I was actually about to say that out loud. I'm not sure if she necessarily would, because she is shit. But the thing is, she would give him trouble. She's physically bigger than him. Do you think the Olmo challenge was a penalty? I do. I've got no problem with the penalty. I'm not one of those fans here who's like salty every time we have something that goes against us. I'm not angry about the penalty. I'm just disappointed that because the thing is, at 1-0, Barcelona were knocking the ball out around at the back here. they were not urgent to try and come and get an equalizer. In their heads, they were like, it's only 1-0. We'll go and slap them up at home. They didn't even they weren't even looking for an equalizer. So we should have seen it out. But when I think about it more and more, yeah, it doesn't make any difference. If we'd gone over there 1-0 or 1-1, it doesn't make that much of a difference because they're gonna bang 3 or 4 against us at home anyway. So if the boxer can't finish the fight within 30 seconds or even 15 seconds, he's getting taken down by an MMA fighter. 100% Starsmoth. Welcome back to the channel, by the way. Yeah, that's just facts. That is just facts. Hottest woman to ever do it. My hottest MMA woman, I personally would go with Tabitha Ricci. I'll go with Tabitha Ricci. I think she's got the cake. I think she's quite pretty. And she seems to be into Irishmen. So, but then when I've seen them doing their little vlogs on the farm and shit, I'm not gonna lie, the master I was pitching did start to sink. I'm not gonna lie. But Diana Belbita, yeah, I would say Tabitha Ricci. There's someone else who I'm thinking of as well. There's not that many hot MMA women, I'm not gonna lie. Paige Van Zandt is all right. She's all right. 5 sticks for Paige Van Zandt. Rachel Ostrovich is the hottest, hands down. Ostrovich has a body on her, but her face looks weird. It looks like she's been injecting stuff in her face, and I don't like that kind of look. Her face looks like it's like claymation. Her face is weird. What do you think about this White House card? How you doing, Not Armin? Or is that not Batman? I think it's a disappointment. I spoke about it on the last one, the last live. Like, my view of it generally is, just to give you a quick breakdown, Gaethje's going to get smoked out by Ilya, so what's the point? Alex and Gon doesn't deserve to fight him. He's a cheater. Gon, and even if Alex wins, he's not going to be a legit freeweight world champion, so who gives a fuck? Then you've got Sean versus Zahabi. Why isn't he fighting Corey Sandhagen? Bo Nickel is shit and shouldn't be on the card, and he's obviously fighting a scrub who got fucking cut not that long ago. The only genuine banger on that card that makes sense in terms of movement in the division and shit is Garcia versus Diego Lopez. But then the problem is, why aren't they doing Diego Lopez and Yair? When they've got that beef, it makes no sense. Tracy Cortez is not really hot, and she sounds like a man, but she does take it up the arse. So, wifey, obviously. She's weird, though. She's creepy. Tracy Cortez does have a decent body, yeah, but she sounds, as soon as she starts talking, and again, you can imagine, yeah, Tracy Cortez is the kind of woman, yeah, you give her one good dicking down, yeah, and she's already talking about, when you gonna marry me, babe? She's that kind of, I hate people that say babe. I hate it. But Tracy Cortez is the kind of person, yeah, that, you get a hotel in Cabo and you absolutely ruin the shit out of her for 3 days. And then you look back on it, and maybe when you're slamming a more respectable chick, you're thinking about clapping those cheeks, but you don't keep those cheeks at home. Also, Strickland versus Hamzat. Yeah, I spoke about this earlier as well. I'm delighted about this fight. I thought it should have been on the White House card. I understand why it wasn't. But the fact that it's announced is brilliant. I think it's going to be, as long as they don't clip their wings in the presses and in the build-up, I think that should be fire as well. And I think Sean Strickland might actually beat him. So I'm going for Strickland. How you doing, Cheddarhead? What's good, bro? Talking about OGs in the building. How you doing, Cheddar? Can you play Nirvana? No, I don't play music on this stream because I don't want to get it taken down. I mean, I'm not monetized anyway, but I'm not down for it. Walrus Raid. Is this musical? Ah, fuck. I should have raided him. I didn't realize he was on. Are you talking about musical? Yeah, Strickland versus Hamza is obviously the fight we all wanted. When I saw it wasn't on the White House card, I was very disappointed. But I'm kind of mixed about it, like I said earlier, yeah, because the thing is, yeah, we're getting the Strickland Hamzat fight. But then what they did is That was obviously the news that we all wanted to hear. And then they threw it in with a whole bunch of main events that nobody gives a singular fuck about. So, like, should we really be celebrating? I don't think so. It's like, here's this banger main event. Oh, yeah, by the way, here's 10 other shit ones that no one cares about. If you see, like I said this earlier on in the stream, yeah, if you see my thumbnail, there's like, I don't know, 11, 12 fights on there. How many of them are genuinely, wow, wow, I'm so happy to see this? The answer is none or one, and that's the Strickland and Hamzat fight. The rest of them, no one gives a fuck. Hamzat's going to pull out with a torn gooch. James, this is exactly what I'm afraid of as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Hamzat pulled out. Hamzat hasn't fought in, what, 9 months, yeah? And I'm shocked that he's fighting again this soon. That's how inactive this little pussy is. So, fuck him. Shout out to Musical MMA though. Wesley, would you mind putting a link for Musical MMA channel in here? Because if you're not subscribed to him, you should be. You absolutely should be. One of the pillars of this community and guaranteed entertainment whenever you watch a live of his. Very engaging dude. And I can honestly say I'm a fan of his channel. So you also have Strickland winning. But you see, the thing is that you had a go at me the other day. Not I had a go at me, but you came in and you went, see, I told you Dubronx was going to win. I said Dubronx was going to win as well. I wasn't saying it with much chest, but I said it. Forgive my grammar tonight. I've been typing all day. Iran situation has fucked up the commercial loan market. Been typing all day. Sorry to hear that, man. Free Pib. How you doing, Pib? What's good, man? Pib, you are free. What up, Rude Boy? Hope you well. How you doing, Flabber Jabber? Frankie dodging my comments like it's the draft. I swear I'm not, bro. Yo, want to start watching MMA? Watch some famous fights on YouTube. What is the structure? So Morning Star, yeah, what kind of fights are you into? This is going to sound like a stupid question, but are you more into like technical performances or do you just like seeing outright fucking war? Because if I was you, if you like wars, I would start with somebody like, or I'd start with a fight like Gray Maynard and Frankie Edgar. All the fights they had were absolutely disgusting wars. Yeri versus Glover would be another one I would look at. Yeri versus Glover to Sherrod, that is. Realize you're a newbie. And if you want to see how good the sport can really be, watch Zhang Wei Li versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Now, I recognize that they're women, and women are useless at everything, but apart from one thing, but we're better at doing that ourselves. What was I saying? Yeah, if you want to realize how good this sport is, watch Zhang Wei Li and Joanna Jędrzejczyk throw hands here, because let's just put it this way, yeah, if women can do it, imagine what the men can do. And that was an absolute war. And it's just a testament to how good our sport is. So check that shit out. But yeah, but if you're into more like technical performances, go with like an Ilya Topuria fight or a Joshua Van fight. More recent guys that are very good technical strikers. Piotr Jan's a really good one to watch as well. There's so many options. What's up, Pib? What advice do you need? Start with Justin Gaethje. Well, Justin Gaethje is going to get folded like an accordion, mate. He's going to get absolutely he's going to get manhandled. He's going to get rendered unconscious. He's going to get ironed out. He's going to get flatlined. He's going to get slept. He's going to get sent to the shadow realm. Whatever way you want to put it, he is fucking done. It will be his last UFC fight. He is going to go out, chin down, arse up, mate. Every sport, if played correctly, has a technical aspect to it. Women's MMA, watch welterweight as I'm in. Oh, you want to watch I don't know why I said women's MMA. Want to watch welterweight as I'm in that category. Well, if you're a welterweight fan, you're kind of stuck with Islam Makhachev, who is a fucking gigantic duck. But there are plenty of good fighters to watch in the welterweight division. You've got Shavkat Rakhmonov, who's on the shelf, unfortunately, at the moment. Ian Gary. I'd watch Ian Gary fights, but just don't listen to anything that he has to say. Carlos Prates is amazing to watch. You've got JDM is a brilliant fighter to watch. Check out Jack Della Maddalena fights. He was the former. He's just lost the championship to Islam Makhachev. His boxing is incredible. The guy's elite. So if you go back and watch his fights, I'm sure you'll find them very entertaining. How you doing, KFC? What's good, man? It's R. Some knob told me out. What? Who kicked out R? Who fucking kicked out R? You're picking Gaethje, of course you are. Of course you are, you round cunt. Check out Jack Barsky. He's a prospect. JDM's sensational, mate. JDM's hands are sensational. Again, different strokes for different folks. But in terms of somebody who I personally really like JDM because I like how he works different levels. I'm a big fan of anybody that does good body work. It's why I'm a big fan of Joshua Van. It's why I'm a big fan. I didn't say it was you, Westy. It's why I'm a big fan of Joshua Van. It's why I'm a big fan of JDM. It's why I'm a big fan of Tapuria. The way those guys dig to the body to create openings to go up top, that's personally what I love. But the thing is, MMA is very similar to the way things are in the rest of life. You're gonna, if he's Indian, it was me. If Ian Garlito loved in Ireland, Ian Gary lived in Ireland, you mean? Are you using text to speech again? If you're not picking Gaethje, you are the enemy. Yes, I am. You pissed yourself. It happens to the best of us, man. Don't worry about it. I would like to say I haven't pissed myself since I was a kid, but I would definitely be lying. I would definitely be lying. It wasn't that long ago. Bro, what about my name, Armin? Armin, what do you want me to say about Armin? I've had a lot to say about Armin Sarukian. I'm in a very weird space about Armin Sarukian because I both like him a lot and dislike him. It's a difficult one. I like him because he's rich as fuck and he's fighting when he's got no reason to, which I find extremely based, by the way. But he also blew the opportunity of a lifetime rolling around for a fucking whore. So I don't have any respect for him for that. So it's a weird one. It's like I think he should get a title shot, but at the same time, I also understand why he didn't. How late I am, no notification. It's just YouTube holding your boy back as always. You know they don't like me. India smells, doesn't agree with my stomach. You mean the country smells, or you mean the food? That's a crazy statement to make. Tapuria is a total knob cheese. He's hard to listen to. Love to see him fight, though. He's not a knob cheese at all. If you hear him talk, yeah, he's actually... Bear in mind, yeah, Paddy, yeah, Ilia Tapuria speaks 4 different languages. English is his worst language by far. And the fact that he can articulate himself so well in English is phenomenal. And I think he's actually quite interesting to listen to. And I think he comes off quite sinister when he wants to as well. He's good at hyping fights. He comes off quite like calculated and cold. I quite like him. I enjoy his personality. But as a fighter, he's absolutely undeniable. I mean, Ilia Tapuria, for me, I've said it multiple times. I've basically been kneeling for the cunt, to be perfectly honest. I think he's the best MMA fighter in the world right now. Best, most well-rounded. He's been roaming around with Nina. Armin's been roaming around everywhere at the moment. That cunt is popping up everywhere. I hope Dana is confined to solitary confinement where he has to live his days out eating Ngannou's knob cheese. I hate him. Wow. You certainly have some very strong feelings there. Dana, the thing is that they need to remove Dana as the face of the company. But hang on a second. I've just realized, yeah, my charger's not in. They do need to move Dana as the face of the company, but it's going to be a very big move in terms of who they bring in next. Because if they get it wrong, it could be an even bigger disaster. How do I make fluffy scrambled eggs? Look up. So what you want to do is you want to do it on a very low heat, and you need cream and you need butter, sir. No oil. Don't do it in a pot. Matua doesn't know what he's talking about. As much as I love you, Matua. I like it the Gordon Ramsay style, where it basically looks like baby sick. But again, man, You said fluffy scrambled eggs, so I would say go with that. Go with the Gordon Ramsay way of doing it. Is scrambled eggs are sensational. You need chives, you need cream, and you need butter. And don't cook the eggs on a hot heat. You've got a 30 seconds, keep moving it, take it off, mix it, put it back on, low heat the entire time. It takes longer to cook, but spectacular. And it doesn't look very advertising. Gordon Ramsay does his shit in a pot. I take it back, listen to Matua, do it in a pot. Remember when the fans were saying DC or Chael Sonnen would replace Dana one day? You've got to be medically retarded to think that. Oh, for sure, man. Neither of them is an option. Cormier would be terrible. Cormier might get it though because he is the ultimate corporate shill and he's not a complete retard. Whereas Chael Sonnen, he's funny and stuff, but he's a retard. He's legit stupid, like low IQ. And Dana doesn't have the same drive and passion to take the UFC back to the glory days. The UFC has got everything that it ever wanted. It's mainstream now. It's printing money. Dana's not really the decision maker anymore. So I think it's more to do with the fact that he's no longer the guy, and he has to talk like he is. Because most people without a brain in their head seem to think that Dana sat there doing all the negotiations, making all the fights, making all the decisions. That couldn't be further from the truth. He has a say at best. And I would say he does. Oh, Tito Ortiz as UFC president would be sensational. They might as well go in that direction. I just put anything I want in there. I imagine Cheddarhead just getting everything that he's got gummy bears in there. He's got fucking Oreos in his eggs. I genuinely imagine that with you, Cheddar. Some 0-calorie donuts chopped up as well. That actually sounds fucking delicious, to be honest. Put your manhood in the air fryer. Piss away all the hard work your grandparents did for us. I'm about to shove 8 raw chicken thighs in the air fryer. Oh, so it's a lonely night tonight, is it? I'm assuming you're cooking for one. To be fair, yeah, 8. How late are you? You're not that late. I mean, you're very late. It's like an hour and I'm doing 2 hours maximum. So if you put it this way, the way that things go in this channel, yeah, you've probably turned up here at exactly the right time because 2 hours of listening to me is fucking brain rot. Bro, UFC 200 before the fights fell out was supposed to be McGregor versus Diaz 2, banger, Jones versus DC 2, banger, and Brock Lesnar. How'd you go from that to 300L, Square L, White House card L? It's crazy. I know, man. I know. Yeah, what brand of air fryer do you have? Good question. It's called Ninja. Cheddarhead, you make me smile. You know that. Everything about you just really, I enjoy it. Pib, the question is, where is Pib? Sorry, what was your go-to PSC spot, fried chicken, when you lived in London? Um, oh, that's a good question. I'm sorry to say it, yeah, but we're not like America. I would say it was probably KFC on Clapham High Street. But they used to have a place called Jackets that was on Clapham High Street. And as the Irishman in me, I just couldn't resist it, man. You go to a jacket potato shop, they would load it with so much butter that it was literally a struggle to get through it without having a heart attack. Just so much butter in it, and they would proper like coat the the jacket potato would be crispy as fuck, and it would be just dripped in butter. Then you shove some beans in there and a big old sausage. God, that was the best. That place shutting down broke my fucking black heart. Yeah, that too. Crap seasoning. I don't like hot sauce. I'm not a sauce person in general. Chicken thighs require paprika and oregano. I'm going to be Westy. I used to be a breast man with my chicken. I used to only eat chicken breast. Boy, was I missing out. The thigh is definitely the best part of a chicken. No doubt. I saw a video of somebody cooking a damn steak in an air fryer. That should not be legal. I don't mind. I'm not the biggest foodie in the world, but do not fuck with the process of a steak, mate. You can bake a wedding cake in there. I like cheddar. I bet you were in your element when air fryers hit the mainstream. Oil up a tortilla shell with olive oil and use as a pizza base. I mean, it's a great idea. Get the fuck out of here, a wedding cake. Cheddarhead, you didn't leave the house for like 3 weeks when your air fryer turned up. In fact, you haven't left since it turned up. You fat cunt. I'm a breast guy too. I mean, I'm not a breast guy in women. I'm more of a bunda chaser, but let's not get into that. But in terms of chicken, yeah, man, I used to fuck with like just chicken breast because I was like, it's got the most meat, but it's not the best meat. The meat on a chicken thigh is the best part. My wedding cake was amazing. Now that I'm reminiscing, what kind of wedding cake was it? I didn't have a traditional wedding. Mac and cheese, I like mac and cheese when it's crispy. I don't like it when it looks like baby fucking food, which is what they serve up at work. I like a bit of crisp on my shit. You know what I'm saying? It actually works. A lot of things work. The tortilla shell, yeah, is underutilized. Legs all day. I'm not a big chicken leg guy. I mean, I do fuck with them, but they're not my favorite part. I would still put chicken breast over chicken legs. You had a Szechuan wedding. No, literally, what we did here, we had like a wedding. We obviously had the registration. And the funny thing about China, yeah, so we got married in Shanghai registry office, yeah. And so they had a big room, yeah. And then you go up and you get registered. And next to you are people literally getting divorced. Swear to God. That's how efficient the Chinese are. It's like we were sat there getting ready to embark on the next chapter of our lives. Oh, we're going to be happy forever type shit. And then next to us, you literally see two people having a fucking slagging match. It's crazy, but very efficient. And I think the way they do it is actually kind of funny because they're showing you a glimpse into your future. Frankie, when are you going to Thailand? I'm going to Manila next Saturday, not tomorrow, as in the Saturday after. And then I'm going to Thailand on July the 24th. And I'm staying there until the 20th of August. So it's a good stretch, mate. Almost a month, pretty much a month. And then I'm going to Macau. Oh, women's legs. That's a different conversation. Nah, bro. As in, what chain did you like? Such as Morley's. Morley's was thing is here. Morley's was never that good, yeah, but it was cheap, and your boy was broke. So Morley's was the one. But I lived in an area, yeah, where KFC was actually closer to me. So I would say, in terms of if KFC is not the answer, I would go with Morley's. And this is how I know KFC that you are definitely a London boy. Because you saying Morley's, no one else knows what the fuck you're talking about. Frankie, use a toothpick to stuff a string cheese into a shell for stuffed crust. You're talking a lot of sense right now. I'm not gonna lie. General Tsao was at your wedding. A what match? A shouting. Yeah, they were slagging each other off, man. They were shouting at each other because they were negotiating what they were gonna get, or they were arguing about what they were gonna get while they were getting divorced. It was hilarious. We were looking over like, God damn. And in your mind, you're thinking, those poor fuckers, that's never gonna be us. Or the woman's thinking that, while I'm thinking, oh my God, in a few years, that's gonna be us. Because your boy's real. You should get a mini Starlink and stream it. Um, from everyone I heard that's got Starlink though, they're saying it's straight trash. Because I was planning on doing the Starlink thing when I go, obviously when I go to Manila, because I always get shit reception out there, and every time I try to stream in real life, I struggle. However, I'm gonna go ahead and make the same mistake as I did last time. I've still got a week to fix it. I might like look into it maybe, but I've heard Starlink is garbage. Imagine making dishes for Dana for fucking Friday. Can't lie, when we finally got a Chipotle in London, big letdown, overrated gay shit. KFC, where exactly are you from in London? Because the fact that you're saying Morley's here, I'm definitely getting a Southwest London vibe. I used Starlink when I was in Thailand. It was wank, mate. You sound like me. You sound exactly like me. This is actually starting to get scary. Do you know me in real life? Let's just be honest now. Did we go to school together? You should go stealth camping along the Great Wall. That sounds like a terrible idea. Chinese people don't fuck around. Did you see their New Year's Day celebrations? Did you see those artificial robots doing kung fu and shit? We need to be more polite to the Chinese. I keep saying this. If you've been rude to a Chinese person at any point in your life, I suggest, yeah, make those apologies before it's too late. I know a few people who have it and they say it's great, but they're in America. See, that's the thing. I would only really use Starlink if I was abroad. Because the internet I've got at home, I know you guys criticize the streams and stuff for being laggy, but I don't think it's an internet problem. I think it's to do with the the user interface I'm using, the restream. This guy on YouTube, stealth camps in China, wild stuff. He's a UK. So stealth camps just mean going camping without permission, yeah? Nah, I'm from East London. If you know Stratford Westfield, I'm not too far from there. Who doesn't know Stratford Westfield? But shout out to you, man. Proper Londoner. I hope you're subscribed to the channel. I think you are. And I think you've been in here before. So shout out to you, man. Shout out to you indeed. I love having not just UK people in here, but having Londoners in here. I feel a little bit more secure because people understand the voice. Throw Starlink in the trash. I don't think it's reached the potential that it potentially. But this is the thing, yeah. Tesla products are all garbage. It's all shiny on the surface, but then when you lift up the hood, it's all trash. Frankie, garlic and soy sauce as a marinade base. I'm not in the middle of my fast right now, so I'm not. I have started a new one, but I'm only 4 hours into it. So all this like food talk isn't getting to me now. Oh, fucking drunk. It's R. Oh, of course you are. Sorry, R, man. Sorry, R. Can you whoever banned R, yeah, shame on you. R, I'm not going to be able to do it in the middle of the stream, but it should. If it is anything, it's going to be a timing out. I will go back into my channel optics right after this stream, and I'll make sure that your name is unbanned. Sorry about that. You did say it was you. My apologies. That's how I knew we were getting on, though. You know you're my boy. Fuck Starlink, fuck Tesla, but that home battery, it's oh well done. They did a fucking battery. I have a Tesla, and yes, it's gay. So Cheddar, what you're telling us here is you've been lying this entire time, and you're not really a fat cunt. I'm kind of disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. Like at least 95% of the love I have for you is the fact that I picture you as like a slovenly waste of human, well, waste of air. But now that I know that you can fit into a Tesla, feel like the love I have for you is now gone. No, I'm kidding. I own a gay, and he's a Tesla. Cheers, bro. Whoever banned me, that's some LGBTQT behavior. I will get to you unbanning your. I'm assuming that whoever did it, it was a timing out. And I'm assuming whoever did it, they were trying to kick out somebody else and maybe accidentally kicked you out. Because that happens sometimes. Bro, Sal Kid killing recently. I'm not sure. I think Sal killed. Do you know what I get from Sal killed? I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I'm getting what's that other Australian cunt with the mustache who got really overhyped and then got fraud checked right after? I don't think Sal killed is gonna get fraud checked necessarily by Benil, but I don't think that Benil sorry, I don't think the Sal kid is as good as people are making him out to be. I'm not convinced yet. Who the fuck's he beaten? Let's just start with that. I told you I'm in perfect shape. You have been honest about that. And I'll always love you, Cheddarhead. You know I will. I can't help it. Cheddar is peak male athletic form. I believe it. YouTube is racist. Coconut Boy Mature can drop F-bombs. But if I do it in my comment, it doesn't pop up. Yeah, man. You've got to be a certain shade to get away with saying whatever you want around here. How old were you when you started making good money? I'm 28 and really want a G63 AMG, but I feel like it's irresponsible. Um, I would say 20 between 27 and 30 is when things started really picking up. It's basically when I took my first job in the Middle East. That's when things really changed. I do think Salkid will beat um he's obviously going to beat Benil Dariush. I mean, not obviously. I wouldn't be surprised if Benil beat him. I think that's going to be a close fight. And I think at the end of the Salkid and Dariush fight, people are gonna he's gonna win, but people are gonna look at him and go, "Did we get a little bit too excited?" That's my prediction for it. And I wouldn't be surprised if Dariush gets comfortably out of that first round without getting hurt, it's gonna get interesting. Trust me, that Ninja air fryer, the glass one, game changer. Let me take a screenshot because I don't even own an air fryer. Ninja air fryer. I feel like if I should be taking advice from any about anything from Cheddarhead, it should be about how to prepare food. I feel like if Cheddarhead has an understanding in the game for anything, it's cuisine. Toxic white male masculinity. Isn't it so fucking convenient, Connor, though, that when it's our turn, they take it away? I was looking forward, yeah, to being a privileged white male, and I never got the chance to. Which fight is best of all time for you? Boy, that is such a difficult question. The first one that popped into my head is Yeri and Glover. So I'd probably have to go with that. But I mean, we've had so many good fights. Like I'm somebody who prefers the all out wars than the technical fights at times. I like watching a technical fighter go to work, don't get me wrong, yeah, and I am a purist from that perspective. But I just like a fucking slobber knocker. I'd have to go with Yeri and Glover, but there are many, many fights of that ilk that are just sensational. Ebo versus Ewood. That was the best minute and 30 seconds in MMA history. You can also see your food cook up close. There's something really cool about that, I've got to say. So basically, other air fryers have toxic stuff in the non-stick coating. The glass one is 100% free of chemicals. Interesting. How you doing, Jamal? It's good, man. You look a bit like Yuri Gagarin, mate. Nah, that's fine. I'm assuming that's a Ukrainian, right? I was skeptical about air fryers, but they are a game changer. This is not a sponsored video, by the way. But go out there and get yourself a Ninja air fryer. Apparently, they are the goats of air frying. I'm gonna look it up when I get off stream as well, because I do need to buy one of those. Because like I said, I've heard it completely changes things up. Ebo versus Ewo was like Pat Barry versus Czech Congo. Czech Congo's been in some great fights as well. If you wanna watch just like carnage, just start from Yuri Prohaska's very first. Oh, I do know who that is. Of course, I know who the first fucking Russian man in space. Why don't skeletons fight each other? Because they don't have the guts. I do love a good dad joke. How you doing, Noaz? What's good, bro? Basically, it's a stove coil with a fan. That's how air fryers work. I mean, it makes sense. I never really thought to get into the. I haven't cleaned my air fryer since Halloween. That's probably why it's tasting so good. Sorry to say it, yeah, but all that gunk that collects up, it adds to the flavor. Don't do it, Frankie. Air fryers are a felony in the UK. Well, I'm more gonna get it for the missus to play around with because I'm not gonna do anything with it. Masvidal knee was the fastest knockout, but it seems disrespectful. I had money on Ben Askren that night as well. It's fuming. Thoughts on Brendan Schaub? I used to enjoy Brendan Schaub. It's a difficult one though, isn't it? I mean, he's obviously fucking retarded. I don't know, man. I can't help. I cannot fully dislike him because I do kind of enjoy him. I do enjoy Brendan Schaub, but he's a fucking moron. What can I say? I can understand why people dislike him and why he gets trolled so hard. I completely get it. Masvidal and Askren are buddies now. Yeah, I saw a video about that. It's actually really nice that they it made me think a little bit more highly of um Masvidal after all that, because I've never really liked Masvidal's personality. Even when he was kind of, getting more of the spotlight and everyone was on the free piece and a soda and all that shit. Um I think Brendan Schaub is smarter than you, to be honest. I mean, I'm not offended by that. I think Brendan Schaub has just made some very questionable decisions. He seems to get himself in a lot of hot water. He's clearly a scammer, and he's got an ego. He's got a massive ego on him. But he's been glazed a lot by people around him, and I personally don't enjoy seeing anyone's downfall. He seems to be having a really hard time of it, and a lot of it was like self-inflicted. But there was a time when I really enjoyed him, and I certainly don't wish to see him, completely implode. But I can understand why people hate him. I'll put it that way. I would like to see Drew Dober versus Jalen Turner. As Guru said, we need to see the mission completed. Bonfim versus Bilal sucks. I think Bilal beats Bonfim as well. We've got Kamaru humble Masvidal later. Yeah, I mean, that was the humbling of a lifetime. Masvidal should have stayed out of there after the first fight. The air fryer uses way less electricity and no need to preheat. It's literally a game changing, and the glass one's super easy to clean. It's basically a big glass pan. I'm sold, man. I feel bad after talking BS about Ben Askren. No, I mean, Ben Askren still is irritating. Let's just keep it real. But I always enjoyed Ben Askren. Ben Askren is the ultimate, he's the ultimate, like, love him or hate him type person. When Askren was in the UFC, it was gold. Because you can see he's very irritating. Sorry, that he was really irritating to other fighters, and he was sharp, you know. I wish that Ben Askren could have got a couple of wins together because it would have been brilliant. Because he has a way of like, and the UFC would have kept him around because he has a very polite way of like creating. He can cause other people to crash out, which is very, very underrated. So were you upset at Jeffrey Epstein's downfall? I didn't know who the fuck he was, man. I mean, why would I? Wink, wink. Um, no, but like I didn't really know even when it first started coming out, I'd obviously hear his name just like everyone else did, but I didn't really find out the full extent of it until a year or two ago. Up until when he got murdered, pretty much. I didn't know anything about it. So long story short, I know what you're getting at, but no. Couldn't give less of a fuck. You can actually cook a frozen steak in an air fryer in 20 minutes. Yeah, I've heard about that as well. I mean, I've heard air fryers are amazing. But like part of it is I just, you always hear these new things coming out. It's the next thing, and it's like Ben Askren is the human troll face meme. He is, man. Ben Askren, I really enjoy him though. He's clearly like very, very autistic and like he's got like serious tunnel vision, but he's not like a bad person. And he's entertaining in his own way. Like even if you found him cringy and annoying, what he creates in terms of like the back and forths, and he's somebody that was very, very worth having around. People maintain that the trade for him and Demetrius Johnson was one of the worst trades. I mean, I know trades don't happen, but it was like a terrible trade for the UFC to make. I think it worked out. It was one situation where it worked out for both organizations perfectly. One got their technical fighter that they were willing to prop up, and the UFC got a shit talker that they got to see humbled. And it was entertainment. Nobody is talking about how he probably has a ton of kids. Oh, he definitely does. I mean, it's like I was talking about it with my friends yesterday when we went out to dinner. Yeah, there's so much going on with this Epstein shit that nothing's going to get done about it. Because you're hearing some wild stuff that happened on one side, and there's so many people involved. Nothing's going to happen. Air fryers poison your food. Look into it. Made to Rome. I think what chicken wang sauce was saying is that this particular air fryer he's talking about doesn't have that problem. Maybe Frankie is one of Epstein's children. So Epstein would have had to have had me when he was, how old was Epstein when he died? 70. 20 something, I guess. I guess it's plausible. You look like Mbappe. That's the weirdest one I've ever heard. I don't know if I should thank you for that or crash out. I'm feeling a little bit of both. Yeah, I rarely use microwaves. I occasionally use a microwave to make it's not oatmeal, but it's like that. It's like porridge. I do fuck with porridge every now and then. Air fryers don't poison food. He's trolling. No, well, I think there was some talk about that. But as you said, the glass one that you're talking about, I have no idea. I mean, I'm not gonna champion any of this shit because I don't have any science background. I don't test products. So yeah, I can't say for sure or not if you are correct or not. But you seem very passionate about what you're saying, so yes, I agree with Western Mass Climber. Please get our boys Two Smelly Fingers some subs because we do want him to start live streaming more. And actually subscribe to Western Mass Climber as well. We can get Western Mass Climber up past 100 subs. That would be great. He's been very loyal to the channel. Best mod in the game. Subscribe to our boy as well. Air fryers don't come equipped with rear view mirrors. You have good feet, but nothing more. How do you know that I've got good feet? I've generally got cute stuff, mate. It's just me. You know, I've just got nice stuff. This is awkward. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it a night for tonight because I will be back on tomorrow, and I feel like I have made up for the fact that I haven't been on here all week. So, shout out to everyone in the chat. Please do subscribe to Western Mass Climber. Do subscribe to Smelly Fingers. Subscribe to Musical MMA. Subscribe to Bodak. If you look in the description on my channel, every creator that is associated with this channel is on there, and they're all worth having a look at. I know it's different personalities all over this joint. If you haven't liked the stream, I've gotten out of I haven't gotten out of the Westy, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and take what you're given, sir. What was I saying? Yeah, I don't really like people to like. I've decided I'm not gonna ask people to like during the stream anymore. But at the end, if you wouldn't mind liking on exit, I'd really appreciate it. Have a wonderful, take it easy, buzz as well. Have a wonderful. Oh, you're at 110. Congratulations, Westy. That is, you're getting along much faster than I did. Much faster than I did. But Westy, shout out to you. Hopefully you'll be back tomorrow at some point. Take it easy, slow. I'm gonna head off now. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm gonna jump on before the card or when the card starts. I'll see how things go. I've got a little bit of a busy weekend, got paperwork to do and all that shit. You wouldn't mind liking the stream before you head out. Obviously, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. We are now only 260 subs away from 2,000, which would be amazing. I'd obviously love to hit that number. Do check out some of the shorts that are on the channel as well, because I'm trying to give those a little bit of a kick up the arse. Shout out to you, Westy. Congratulations on the boost. All jokes aside, and some members of this community are all right. Jamal, take it easy, mate. Have a good night yourself. Yes, and look out for Westy, who's possibly going live tonight. I will see you all tomorrow, either just before the UFC card or when it starts. Thank you to everyone who hung out. What was the comment? Oh, some good videos about the glass. Yeah, I'm going to check it out as well. Definitely going to check it out. Love you as well, bro. Take it easy, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Shout out to all the creators in the description, as I said. Shout out to silkpajamas.vip. And I will see you all tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.